I stick with this format throughout the class. Okay, so there'll always be 3 sections like this. And the vocab will always be worth 2 points apiece, and the short answer will always be worth 3 points apiece. Oh yeah, so there were 78 possible, and I took it out of 70, just a little bit because of the confusion, but I won't always take it out of fewer number possible, so can't count on that. So we'll go through each one. The first question said, which of these would have the highest albedo, so the most reflectivity? The brightest, basically, that's something that's white, fresh snow. How appropriate, right? The second one, if you have a current, an ocean current that's moving towards the poles, what I was after there is it's relocating warm water towards the poles. So actually A was the best answer there. Question 3, the Earth's axis is tilted B at a constant 23.5 degrees. Question 4, which of the following would have a net effect of making a place warmer in the summer? And again, something kind of near and dear to our hearts. Locations that are in the middle of a land on the coast, they have hot summers and cold winters. That's us. Okay, so B was the best answer there. Question 5 was about the scientific method, and a theory is best defined there. Of the choices you have, A is actually the best way to say what a theory is. It's a hypothesis that's been extensively tested and is generally accepted by the scientific community. I know you might be tempted to put B, but a theory is not a final solution. Okay. Question 6. On average, this was the environmental lapse rate, the ELR. If you send up a weather balloon, on average, for every 1 kilometer, the balloon rises. And we'll be talking more about this on Friday. For every 1 kilometer it rises, it will cool, because it cools here in the troposphere. Okay, so the temperature will drop 6.5 degrees Celsius. So C is the best answer for 6. Question 7, if the sun has a low angle, then we get beam spreading. So what I was after there was C, that the energy is spread over a larger area. That would be the flashlight. Question 8, this one, number of people put actually C for this one, but it's D. So if you are taking a location and you want to know what its range is throughout the year, you have to revisit the monthly averages and see what's the highest and the lowest, and the difference of those is the range for the year. The next page, question 9, which of these is not a variable component? And argon, wait,
Yep.
which of the following is not, yeah, sorry. Yeah, the other 3 are variable. Water varies, CO2 varies, and ozone varies. So B is the best answer there. Question 10, when we compare the Earth and the Sun, when they ooze radiation, the Earth actually has those longer wavelengths, so it's over there to the right versus the Sun. Question 11, a big difference between weather and climate. They both have to do with the atmosphere. But, of course, climate is about 30 years or so period of time involved. Question 12, if you have a daily max and min of 30 and 21 degrees Fahrenheit, respectively, C, the range is 9. 13, how is the daily maximum temperature affected if you have the maximum daily temperature affected if you have clouds there? And it will be cooler, so the daytime highs will be cooler. And actually, this was, I liked what I saw, the short answer. This is kind of a short answer question, too. Question 14, objects with higher temperatures, D, will emit more shortwave radiation than cooler objects do. Okay. And then 15 had to do with this map here. And it said you were supposed to find X, so here's X, right? And you were supposed to say, let me know what temperature that approximately is. So you can see it's between the 70 and 80. So that's why the best answer is 75 there. 16. Which of these make what our feels like temperature, affects our feels like temperature? And the best answer there is actually C. If the wind's blowing, that'll affect what we feel like. The temperature of the air affects what we feel like, and so does the humidity. 17. The good ozone layer is found in D, the stratosphere. 18, which of these is correct about the equinoxes? And the only correct statement there is B, that during equinox, the days and nights are equal all around the world. Question 19, the four thermal layers, so that would be the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. You're supposed to go from the closest to the farthest out, so A is the best answer there. Question 20, the specific heat of water is high, and what that means is D, that water needs to lose a lot of energy or gain a lot of energy when its temperature changes. 21, which of these do not happen when the sun sends its energy through the Earth's atmosphere, and that energy A is not intensified. That energy can be transmitted, it can be scattered, it can be absorbed, but it's not intensified. Question 22, how is the daily temperature range affected if you have clouds in place? And D, the range will be less, okay, because your daytime highs will be lower and your nighttime lows will be higher. Question 23, the Earth receives energy from the sun using C, radiation. Question 24, the annual temperature range at most latitudes in the southern hemisphere is less. They have less swings. And the best answer there is C, that they have a lot more water than we have in the northern hemisphere. Question 25, the 90-degree angle, the most intense rays of the sun strikes the Tropic of Cancer. So Cancer would be in the northern hemisphere on our summer solstice. So the best answer there is A, June 21st. 26, locations on Earth that have the largest annual temperature swings or changes from summer to winter would be us. But since we don't have a land one there, okay, remember there was like a figure from your textbook that said the closer you go to the poles, they have crazy swings. So going towards the poles, that would be latitude. So high latitudes was the best answer there. Question 27, absorption of long-wave radiation, and then that radiation re-emitted by the Earth to be absorbed by gases in the lower atmosphere. That's the greenhouse gas effect. So that's A is the best answer there. Question 28, which is the most abundant gas in our atmosphere? C, nitrogen. Question 29, which of these is correct? And it's correct to say that A, water has a high specific heat. Those others are incorrect. Question 30, beyond the oceans, the next follow-up place where we have most of our fresh water is in glaciers. Or water, I guess I should say. Oceans aren't fresh water. So glacial ice, C. Question 31, which of these are not one of the spheres we talked about? We talked about hydrosphere, but not aquasphere. Of course, geosphere is the Earth, atmosphere is the air around the Earth, biosphere is all life, but there's no aquasphere. Sounds like a good one to throw us off, though. Question 32, ozone is the gas that helps protect the Earth from incoming ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Question 33, an isotherm, A, connects locations of equal temperature. Also worth 2 points. The last question on your vocab, right? Isotherms. Question 34 actually dealt with that graph right there, which is carbon dioxide concentration. And it goes something like, explain the bumps. And so you wanted to look, those are actually seasonal swings. So you wanted to look for something that had to do with plants in your answer. So D is the best answer there. Those little bumps are from changes in plant growth. Question 35, the troposphere is thickest. This was a homework question over the equator, B. Question 36, Rayleigh scattering gives us blue skies, and D, it gives us our beautiful kind of red-orange sunrises and sunsets. The next section was vocabulary. So I was after hypothesis as in the scientific method, sometimes referred to as our best guess, hypothesis. 38, I was after Tropic of Capricorn. So that would be in the southern hemisphere, where 23.5 degrees southern hemisphere. Instead of Tropic of Cancer is up here, Tropic of Capricorn's down there. Question 39, I was after specific heat as the property of how stubborn or how easy substances to heat up if you add energy. Question 40, this set of devices automatically measures conditions of the atmosphere and sends the information electronically. Those would be ASOSs. Question 40. Question 41, albedo is, in some cases, these are all worth 2 points. In some cases, I gave you 1 of 2 points. So I think if you put reflectivity, I can't remember, somebody did that and I either gave 2 or 1 point. So I was after albedo, though, is when light hits an object, the amount of light that will reflect. Question 42, absolute zero is the coldest temperature possible, and all matter would stop moving then. 43, ozone is actually that was a question earlier in multiple choice, I think. Ozone is the thing in Earth's atmosphere that protects us from ultraviolet radiation. Perihelion is what I was after for the number 44, when the Earth is closest to the sun. Question 45, we talked about the windward versus the leeward side of a mountain. So I was after leeward as the side of the mountain that's opposite the direction the wind is blowing. Question 47, convection is that tendency of warm air, warm fluid to rise, and usually will cool as it rises and then sink back down again. And like I said, 48 was also a multiple choice question. So if you see these, and we'll be talking more about contour lines connecting locations with the same something, isoplex, right? But if they're connecting locations with the same temperature, they're called isotherms. Then the last one, I got some pretty pictures here. I like the pictures. What I was after for 49 was to tell me how pressure changes as you go up in elevation. Not a very good picture here, but pressure down at the Earth's surface is greater, more particles, and as you go up, the air gets thinner, less particles. Pressure gets less. Question 50, tell me how the geosphere and the hydrosphere might interact. I saw some good ones there, too. Okay, so, of course, that's water in the earth. I picked mudslide. Question 51, I wanted you to give me the proximate times or months and dates when the solstices and equinoxes occurred. Of course, the fall and the spring equinox is coming up, isn't it? In September and March. And the winter and the summer solstices are in December and June. And then number 52, this might be one of the reasons that I took it out of fewer points, because number 52 doesn't read real well. But what I should have said is list the 7 forms of electromagnetic energy, okay? But the 7 forms of electromagnetic energy that we discussed in class were the gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet, visible, infrared, microwaves, and radio waves. Yeah. So these were each with 3 points, and I think if you reversed them, I took 1 point out. Question 53, again, kind of back to some of your multiple choice questions. How are the daily temperatures different on a cloudy versus no clouds day? So I put on a cloudy day, the daytime temperatures will be cooler and the nighttime temperatures will be warmer because clouds act like a blanket than without the cloud cover. And the last one, I went ahead, and that's my crude drawing of North America. Isn't that terrible? I know. Or just the United States, I guess. So, and if I was drawing this again, I should draw them at the same latitude because that's actually kind of what the problem says. But you see A is clearly coastal and B is inland. And so I wanted you to let me know what sort of differences that those 2 locations would experience. And so on the coast, the temperatures will be moderated by the ocean. You'll have cooler summers and warmer winters compared to the B location. And so the follow-up, and I liked a lot of times what y'all answered, because which location will have the greatest annual temperature range, the swing, of course, that's us, right? That's B. So that's that.